Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have been playing Diablo 4 since the early release for several days now, and I recently beat the game on Veteran. So I've been playing as the Rogue. I'm now around level 50, and I wanted to go over my build with you because I thought you guys might be interested. It's a little bit different than some of the builds that you'll find in some of the other channels. And so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start the game. I'm going to go over my different skills and my different item abilities that's allowed me to make this specific type of build. And it's a fun build. That's kind of the reason why I'm playing it. One of the things about this build is I never have to worry about using a healing potion. I essentially never use healing potions ever. On bosses, against big groups, I never have to use them. This specific build with the item abilities that I have make it so I'm constantly regenerating life super fast. As long as I'm not like stunned or there's no way I can attack the enemy, which is extremely rare. I essentially never have to worry about life. And that's even with just using the basic and the core attacks. Even with just like the basic attack. I'll show you what I did with the basic attack to make it to where I regenerate life so fast. Even against bosses, if I'm just spamming the boss with my basic attack, I'm essentially able to regenerate life at the same rate that I'm losing it. So I'll go ahead and show you. Okay, so you can see I'm level 52, and let me go over into the abilities or skill tree. Okay, so unlike other builds, you will see that most people only put like one on puncture and they have it go out this way. And I see this as kind of a fundamental problem in people's builds, because if this is kind of like, if this doesn't require any regeneration at all or any type of power in order to be able to perform this function, isn't a bad idea to make it powerful enough to be a primary attack feature and then build around this. So I put this up to level 5, and you can see it deals like between 473 to 579 damage. And then it also makes them vulnerable, which makes a huge difference with my other attack features. And then I'll show you something else on my character. Okay, so I have 2 things to make my normal attack extremely powerful. This one right here, you'll see it has a 45% basic skill damage increase. All right, so now all of a sudden I'm doing essentially 150% additional 150% of damage from the basic skill maxed out. Then the other thing that I have, let me find it here. I'm trying to remember where Okay, here it is. So the bottom, you can see basic skill gains 45% attack speed. All right, now my basic attack, I'm doing like 250, it's almost 250% of the maxed out damage for the basic skill. And just by me keeping down the left mouse button and pointing it over enemies, like, it regenerates my life so fast. I never have, my guy is not squishy at all. Like, I see like barbarians facing some of these bosses, and they're like having to like regenerate life. I'm like, how have they not figured out how to make a build that's like less squishy than the one that I've created. The other thing that I've done is on the armor, I've put the skulls, right? And as you can see, that increases my healing pretty rapidly. I think I probably have some other healing things here. But that gives you an idea of just my basic ability. And man, my guy is like, he just throws out knives so freaking fast. It's unbelievable. Like, and it's fun to play. When your guy is not like slow at attacking, where he's just like, bam, 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 bam. Like, it's like, honestly, like firing a machine gun. And then it's, I've got some other stuff too, where it's, you know, every once in a while, if I get like a critical strikes with core skills, it increases your attack speed by 21%. So already it's like, that increases me to essentially 300%, you know, damage on that basic attack, right? And it's just, my guy ends up attacking so fast. I'm all over the place very, very quickly. Okay, the next thing I put on here, let me go over here. Obviously, twisting blades. So twisting blades, you know, uses up your energy. And one of the beautiful things about the speed at which my basic attack goes, if I start running out of energy, I just do this basic attack really, really, or I just do the basic attack, the puncture, and like it spams up my energy super fast. And then I can go straight into doing twisting blades over and over and over again. And if it ever runs out again, then I can do the same thing. And oftentimes, you know, I've got the specialization. I still use inner sight, and this really helps just in big crowds, like take out all of the enemies. I don't even try and focus. This really helps me take out large groups of enemies. I don't even focus on taking out the enemy where the all-seeing eye is located, because it's so easy for me to regenerate my energy by spamming puncture. I can regenerate it within a couple seconds and use this. And then every once in a while I get that extra bonus where it's like 4 seconds straight where I'm just doing the twisting blades on the enemies. And the 21% increase in speed attack also applies when I use this, right? So, and I have this 0.10%. They nerfed this pretty bad. You guys might have already seen a video on that. They nerfed this from 0.25 seconds down to 0.1 second for every enemy that it passes through. But it's still an incredibly powerful build, and I never have trouble getting energy for the twisting blades because of this. And I have the imprinted twisting blades orbit for a short time after they return to you. So this is one of the best imprinted abilities that you can put on any of your items for the rogue build. Obviously, it requires you to be using twisting blades, but it is so good at regenerating energy. So between the orbiting blades and this, energy is never an issue. Okay? Energy is never an issue. Life is never an issue. Then obviously, these are really important to power up. I usually do those in scale, but if you're doing your first build, focus on getting these abilities, throw a couple of these in here until you can get to this. So Shadow Step. Shadow Step is really important for getting that critical damage and for helping move quickly from enemy to enemy, and helping the orbiting blades or these twisting blades to follow you. So if you attack an enemy in one area, and then you teleport over and you do twisting blades or shadow step on an enemy across the screen, all of those twisting blades are going to follow and hit all the enemies in between. Okay. And I mean, I'm just able to clear out whole groups of enemies very, very quickly, and it's really efficient, and it's a good way, you know. So what I'll do, this hits with vulnerability, twisting blades. I don't know if that adds any. Okay, doesn't add any like critical strike or anything. Anyway, so I'm going to show you how this works with the next ability. Okay, so shadow step. The next thing that I did, I used to have Dark Shroud, and the reason I took it off is because I was generating life so fast, and I never had to, use a healing potion. I thought to myself, why do I even have a Dark Shroud other than the speed bonus? I was like, the speed bonus is nice for walking around, but that speed bonus doesn't apply to how quickly you attack. It's just how quickly you walk around. And I was like, there's got to be something better. I wanted to improve more so my control and the damage that I do. So I ended up doing smoke grenade. I like concealment's cool, but the problem that I have is every time I would try to use concealment, I'd put concealment on, and then some random attack that an enemy made like a half a second before would hit me. Or like I would try and maneuver myself around some of the bad guys, but then I'd accidentally end up like pressing an attack button on them, and it's like it ended up being worthless to me for the most part. There are some cool abilities where it's like once you come out of concealment, these are bound item abilities, where it's like once you come out of concealment, like there's an explosion around you that does for a few hundred in damage or something like that. That's pretty cool, but it's not an ability that I chose. So I chose smoke grenade because it's easy to incorporate into the build that I already had, and the stuns between vulnerable and stunning the enemies or dazing them, it essentially makes it so it's very easy to get like do tons more damage. I don't know if it's critical strike damage or overpower damage, but if I have a vulnerable enemy that's also stunned or dazed from this, and then I end up going and doing a shadow step behind them, I end up doing like thousands and thousands of points of damage to the enemy. It's very effective. And then I went with this one in particular, dealing direct damage to the enemies affected by smoke grenade has up to a 25% chance to reduce its cooldown by 1 second. Okay, and the reason I went with this one over this one is this one is reliant on the enemy being either vulnerable, chilled, or slowed for it to last longer. Where this, and it's not like only 20% longer, and this actually can dramatically reduce the wait time, and it's just a matter of it doing damage to affected enemies. Are you doing damage to affected enemies, which you're almost certainly to do. Okay, that's why I went with that one. All right. This is kind of one of the later, Agile is one of the later ones that I put on. This was like, I really beefed up these first, and then kind of this was one of my last points that I actually added. Okay. So over here, I did Shadow Imbue. Most of you guys already know about this type of build, right? You imbue your weapons. So between the shadow imbume, smoke grenade, and then shadow step, when they're vulnerable, like you can just do a ton of damage. And this type of build is really easy. It's really easy to pull that sequence off. You just take your left mouse click button, you point it over an enemy, and then you can arrange your numbers, 1 through 4 on your fingers, and literally just go down the line, click, 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 and then where it's like you go and well, I'll show you next what I have built to show you the four movements that I essentially do. Okay, so I got the shadow imbume. You guys all know what shadow imbume does. Also makes them vulnerable for 2 seconds. Okay, and then I do the shadow clone. So shadow clone is pretty awesome. You end up doing 80% of the original damage. And I'll tell you, like you're also getting the circulating blades from the orbit, just like I showed you from the twisting blades, how you have that ability imbued, or that you have that ability like on one of your items. So he also gets twisting blades, and so you're just doing you have all these blades just like circling around you, doing tons and tons of damage. And I specifically like the clone because he targets what you target, and it gives you a lot of control. I know a lot of people have been talking about the damage of these traps. I get it, these traps can be really good. But once you lay a trap, the trap is stuck there in that one spot. And so if you're fighting a boss that moves around a lot, I just hate the idea that you're like chasing this boss around, laying a trap, and then like a second later he moves off it, right? So that's why that type of build isn't as appealing to me as this type of build. This, like, with the clone, I have complete control on where he targets all the time because he's targeting what I'm targeting. That's what's nice about it. And then obviously momentum. Okay, so I'm going to go over the rest of my character's abilities. So here's this. Each stack of momentum key passive heals you for 70 life per second. I got really lucky on this one. I got the max out per life. And then I put the 3.5 healing received. This one you heal 6 life per second for each close enemy, up to 112 life per second. Okay, this one gives me +2 ranks on twisting blades. So that's why I've kept it on for so long. That's really helpful in terms of just increasing the damage of that. Okay. So already this one gives me an extra shadow step, kind of like I showed you. So now I have like 3 shadow steps. That's it's like I have 3 shadow steps before I even have to recharge. And then, it's like I got it so they recharge even faster, right? So cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds when it damages an enemy you've not hit with shadow step in the last 4 seconds. Yeah, so it's like I've got 3 of them, and then I got that quicker cooldown. So very easily I can do tons of shadow steps. And what's nice is like I've also, when I have the clone out, oftentimes the shadow step will kill one of the enemies. Okay, so this one is I need to change the ability on this because I don't use flurry. All right, but this has been a good weapon for me because even though I'm not using the crossbow, I get all these other benefits associated with it. The 23% damage to vulnerable enemies, the 45% 50% basic skill damage, all that stuff. It all applies, even with my daggers. Okay. This, the basic skill, the twisting blades, yeah, basic skill 45%. And then critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed by 21%. And just like I told you, it's like I'll make the enemy vulnerable, and then I'll also stun them with the grenade. And then with this, like I'm likely to get a critical strike with the twisting blades, much more likely, and my attack speed ends up going up 21%, and then I'm just like, it's like a machine gun, super quick. So again, agility skill. So the twisting blades, I believe, is an agility skill. Let me look at this. That's core. I'm trying to remember what the agility skill is. This one, the shadow step. Shadow step is the agility skill. Okay. Reduces cooldown of your next subterfuge skill by up to 20%. Okay. So sometimes people don't pay attention. So my subterfuge skill is this. So now it's like I'm able to throw out these daze grenades, the smoke grenades, very regularly, increasing my damage and essentially like crowd controlling. And then this one, your shadow clones, also mimics the imbuement supplied to your skill. Casting an imbuement skill grants your active shadow clone 13% increased damage for 5 seconds. And that one speaks for itself. You know, so that is my build. And let me go somewhere where I can kind of show you. This is kind of the map that I've built so far. Now, I'm not like some Diablo 4 god. You know what I mean? Some of these guys have been really like learned how to farm and level from Diablo 3 and you know, and they've been playing for like the last decade, and I get that. There's no way for me to you know, they're on a different level when it comes to some of this stuff. But let's go over here to some of these areas here. We'll just come down. All right, over here. Hopefully I don't die. So I'm showing you guys my build, and then it's like, I'm like, oh, okay, let's just go into some bad guys. I'll show you guys the battling with it, and that way you have an idea of how this build works. Oh, yeah. My guy's following me around. But you can see it's just a really fun build. Like, you move around so fast. It's like you don't even have to try. You know what I mean? And you can see it's like I never take damage, ever. Even when I was fighting Lilith, I was never taking damage when I was fighting Lilith. My life was like full the entire time. I couldn't have used a healing potion even if I wanted to. Sometimes if I just leave the left mouse button down, right? Sometimes if I just leave the left mouse button down, it stops registering that I even have it down, so I have to lift it up, press it again. Anyways, it's a really fun build, you know, and I get it. There's probably some other builds where it's like for, you know, you'll do one single hit and it does like 4,000 damage or something like that. But this is like death of a zillion cuts. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take much effort. This is me just doing like the normal button, and then every once in a while the normal left click, and then every once in a while I'll just click on the right side, the right click button. Just so you guys get an idea of what that is. See, you can see how quickly, how quickly I can recharge my life, right? If I just like let him kill me or hurt me for a bit. Is he gonna hurt me fast enough? Apparently he's not. So anyways. Yeah, that's the build, guys. You know, I haven't been playing long enough to try out a whole bunch of different classes. This is a class that I started out with, and so this will probably be my main class. I don't know. At some point, I might get this guy to 100, and then I'll try a different class. We'll kind of see. Yeah, I wish I had like some tougher enemies to show you right now. But anyways, so that's here. Let's go in here. Let's see if there's some baddies in here that we can go kill. One of the important things is that you have a build that you enjoy playing. It's not just about doing the absolute max amount of damage per hit. It's about having a build that's like easy to play and that's enjoyable to play. Right? Like everybody wants to say like, oh, I've got. No. That's honestly it. I'm playing this on Nightmare. That's why they're doing more damage to me than previously. All right, well, that gives you an idea. So anyways, that's the build. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, that's one of the cool things about this game, Diablo 4, is there's so many different ways you can kind of mold your character, right? And they're really trying to balance things out. So that way you can kind of figure out a fighting style that you like or a gameplay style that you like. And it's not going to be like that much weaker or that much more powerful than a lot of these other builds. So that's what I would say is like find the type of class, the type of build, and the type that you enjoy playing with. And it's, you know, learn how to tune it to make it the way that you want. Because at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and eventually, probably within a few weeks or a month, there's not going to be one build that's just like hands down way better than any other. So just have fun with it. Anyways, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. I'll have a lot more Diablo 4 content for you guys in the future. And a big shout out to, hey, Terry, thanks for the comment on one of my most recent videos. It meant a lot to me. But hopefully you're watching this one, and you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.